Right, we're ready to rock and roll. So welcome to the introduction. I'm going to try and do this in just under half an hour. I mentioned on my Instagram post there's kind of four things I'm going to cover that I personally believe are essential before you do anything. And when I first started out, I made the mistake of investing and then trying to learn all this along the way. I've mentioned previously, I got lucky with the timing, and at the moment, the timing's a little bit sensitive because Bitcoin at the moment over the last 7 days is up 25%. However, overall, it's down significantly from where it was a couple of months ago. So I was lucky with my timing. So my advice to anyone considering looking into this: don't rush your investment. Try and learn and research and do your reading and make your own decisions and take ownership on what you're doing, rather than hearing one person mention a good cryptocurrency to invest in. Invest the money without doing all the fundamental reading around it that I feel like you have to do first. So as I've said, don't make the same mistakes I did, because I got lucky, and a lot of people that have probably done that over the last 6 months would have been hurt quite considerably. So that's the first thing I'll say. The second thing I'm going to say quickly is, if you're watching this on your phone, I personally would get your laptop out or get an iPad out. It's just a lot easier. I think you'll probably struggle to really see what I'm trying to show you if you're watching this on a phone. So load your laptop up, get a notepad, get a coffee, get a beer, get a tissue if you're a little bit weird. And yeah, this hopefully will help you. And any questions that you have on the back end, obviously just hit me on Instagram and I'll make sure I get back to you. So I've got 4 tabs on my screen. These 4 tabs, in my opinion, are all you're going to need as a starting point for cryptocurrency. So I use my phone for things like Telegram and Instagram and Twitter, but for actual concrete research where I need to spend half an hour on YouTube videos or looking at charts, I'll use a laptop. I just find it a lot easier, and I think that'll be the same with you as well. So CoinGecko, I'd save this as a bookmark. This is your Bible. So anything really that you want to find out, you will be able to find out through CoinGecko. You'll be able to find out the price. You'll be able to see all of the cryptocurrencies. You'll be able to see what's performing best. You can then break it down further into things like NFT and DeFi. So within cryptocurrency, just to make it even more confusing for you, you then have specific types. So again, this is a later video that I'll do in terms of what DeFi and NFT and everything else refers to. But everything you really want to find out can be all done through this. There's also things like recently added. So recently added will be new cryptocurrencies, which would be quite an interesting one. And you can also see things like large movers, which I'm going to see what we've got. So yeah, we've got some that are up 700%. This is within 24 hours, which is ridiculous. And then you've also got your biggest losers. So hopefully no poor sod is invested in this, because they would currently, £100 would be 1 penny right now. So this is something that you want to familiar yourself around with. It's quite easy in terms of interface, so I think there'll be the odd thing that you might need to ask, but I think just play around with it. I certainly learn better by playing around with things, so have a look. Any questions that you've got on the back end, just ask me. If I start with, so as you can see here, this is at the moment, this is all ranked in market cap. So the second tab that I've got is, you don't necessarily need to have this up, but this is just something that I'm going to put a link in. So I'm trying to explain to people at the moment that price can be confusing. So when I first started out in cryptocurrency, I invested in XRP, and I remember being drawn in by the price, and I thought to myself, why would I buy Bitcoin for 40,000 when I can just get XRP for 0.7? So if I'm going to invest £1,000, I can get roughly 1,200 coins of XRP, or I can get Bitcoin and I can get 40th of a Bitcoin. Do you see what I mean psychologically? So this is where you kind of need to be careful, because in some ways I can see why this would entice you. And Doge, I won't even show you the Doge chart, but Doge started at a ridiculous level and people made millions off it. But people tend to avoid going into stuff like this or this because of the price. you actually need to consider market cap. So if let's say something is $5 and it has a really low market cap and it's all the way down here, the room it has to grow. So if, for instance, let's pick this is something that's been hyping at the moment, this is NFT related, so this is just under I'm gonna have to do the maths now, 1 billion. So if this broke the top 10, it would need to get to 12 billion. Yeah, that makes sense. You've just seen what I've done there. So Mana would do a 12x. Okay, so the market cap to do a 12x would then obviously massively, significantly boost the price up. So you want to think about market cap and you want to try and avoid this. This is more to do with the circulating supply. So if someone has or a cryptocurrency has 10 trillion coins in terms of circulating supply, that's probably going to be something like 0.0000. It doesn't mean it's going to go over $1. It doesn't mean it probably has the ability to go any higher than that. So do your research on market cap. I won't waffle on too much. Try and avoid getting too exposed to the more coins of something you get, the better, because it's certainly not the case. Just another funny story for you. So Elrond, I remember Elrond was something that was sat around 4 or 5 when I first had it, and I saw it went up to about 6 or 7, and I was like, I don't think this is going to go any higher. I ended up selling it for something like Cardano or XRP because that was effectively like a penny stock. It was 0.00 something. This is lagging because this has not shown the max chart. Here we go. So I had it. When did I have it? I think it dipped a little bit. Maybe I had it around 7. This then went up to about 240. So this, almost did mad things. I sold it here. I held it for a week and sold it. But I was so focused on the price, and I ended up buying things that were considered cheaper. But this at the time was fairly low in terms of market cap, and it then ended up exceeding the 1 billion mark. So just a little lesson for you. So do your research on market cap. And don't get drawn in by the price. Look at the market cap and the potential and the fundamentals, and just remember price is effectively to do with the circulating supply. So if we then go back to CoinGecko, Bitcoin was the first. It was the first concept effectively on blockchain technology. Ethereum was then effectively the next big mover. And these are now effectively like your big two. So Bitcoin tends to lead first in terms of if Bitcoin moves, Ethereum then will follow just after. And then the money then flows into all of these, which are effectively known as altcoins. So the way I see it is that Bitcoin developed this blockchain technology, and clearly entrepreneurs and institutions and banks all started to realize that the mission as such that Bitcoin was set out to do was to create a digitalized currency which would cut out intermediaries and the middleman from transactions. So a lot of other people obviously realized that this could have a significant impact on the global economy, and they created their own unique projects that would sit on the blockchain and work either with in conjunction of Bitcoin and Ethereum, or some of them are actually in competition that they feel that they can perform better. So that is why you have so many, and I don't expect anyone to know what all of these do and have the time to do all the reading, but I think it's important to know that a lot of the time they all move together, and it's not necessarily about what you invest in, it's about when you invest and having the strategy to get out at the right times. But my advice to you would be to YouTube. So this, let me show you now the process. So I've gone on here, I've had a quick look, nothing standing out. There's so many, I don't really know what to look at. I'm going to go on to YouTube and I'm going to search for best altcoins, if I can spell, 2021. So they try and draw you in top 6 altcoins to explode. I want something to explode, so I'm gonna click on this. So this is a 2-minute 40 video. I'm hoping if he's no, he might have done. I was hoping he was gonna. No, he's not name dropped the coins. But let's just skip this on. I'll see what coin 5 is, and what we'll do is we will see what it is, and then we'll look at it on CoinGecko together. So okay, so he's choosing this. I've heard of this. So Aave. So by the way, on YouTube, any Tom, Dick and Harry can do a video. I just clicked on the first one. It's had 600,000 views, and it's from January. You probably want to look at something a little bit more current than this, but this is just an example. So there we go. It's number 30 in terms of market cap rank. So we'll be interested to see what the price was back then. Yeah, so that, given that was January, so that's gone up. As you can see, that's 3x since this guy made this video. And given that it's probably tanked a little bit during that's quite impressive. So yeah, and again, last year 29 got all the way up to 600. Did it touch 600? Yeah, it did. So you found the coin. You've had a look at the chart. You can see there's been a little bit of a dip. It's almost lost half its value pretty much just over the last couple of months. If you want to look at the actual 24-hour chart just to see what's going on, so it looks like there was some resistance here at 290, and it looks like it's gone back up to 310. So given that we're now on an upwards trend, if this was something that you read and you thought was an interesting project that you wanted to buy into, you'd want to probably zoom out a little bit and see. Yes, so you can see that this probably is not going to be going any lower than here, but we've had a nice upward trend here. You probably would want to look for a little bit of a dip and try not to buy in at the top. So people would have done the same here. So back on the 6th of July, bought a 300, rode it down to 200. So you can see why people lose money, and you can see why a lot of it is to do with timing rather than what you invest in. So that's an example. You'll have a bit down here at the bottom about what they do. You've got a timeline as well, so you can see what they've launched and when. If it didn't make any sense, I would then just quickly, I don't know what I've dropped. What is Aave? Don't pick something 15 minutes long. Bloody hell. Pick this, 351. What is Aave coin? Done your research. So as a process, that would have taken you about 5 minutes, and you can decide whether it's something you want to get in or not. You spend an hour a day, you could, in theory, and I appreciate that might be ambitious, let's even say you do half an hour. You could probably research 6 cryptocurrencies in that time. And you might want to say, right, before I do anything or even consider, I'm going to look at 30, and then I'll maybe choose 3 that I want to start in terms of investment. The other thing then is, so we've looked at what it does, we've looked at the price, the market cap, we've looked at the chart, where it's sitting at. What else would I need to do? The other thing that I personally do is I use Twitter, and the reason being is if you're about to invest in something that isn't really being hyped on Twitter, I would be a little bit reluctant to invest. And the reason being is you want there to be vocal people, because if I'm honest, a lot of cryptocurrency is to do a big account, for instance, with 1 million. It's like Elon Musk and how he can, or he doesn't have as much power as he did, but he can impact the price of Bitcoin through a tweet. So you kind of want to get trends of what is being hyped and what is kind of under the radar. Buying something under the radar is not a bad thing, because that might be that you're actually entering something early, whereas buying into something that's being hyped might be FOMOing into something that's already gone up. But you want to get a gist of what people are saying, because if you did search something on here that no one's mentioned in the last 24 hours, I'd be cautious as to whether that is something that people are looking at the moment. So if I type in, so always do $, that's like the crypto symbol. And if you went on to, this is easy because that matches that name, but I'll show you in a minute that some of them have a different $sign to their cryptocurrency name. So Aave. This means anyone that's mentioned this, tagged this, is talking about this. Sometimes people tag loads of stuff, as you can see, so it doesn't really give you any specifics. But what you can do, this is doing it in latest. So we've got someone would load Aave and SNX on a pullback of Bitcoin, both look ready to break out. So I would then probably look at his profile. If it's someone with 2 followers that's never tweeted, I probably wouldn't look at it. But if it's someone with reputable tweets, go and have a look down on what he's tweeted previously. And if he's called things that have gone well, you might think, actually, I'm going to trust a nice human, which is probably a little bit stupid. But the point I'm trying to make is that you can see what's going on. So breakout confirmed. He's clearly someone that looks at technical analysis, so you can go and have a look at that. If you then do top, it should be those that have the most engagement, so you'll be able to see posts, and it's likely to be the bigger Twitter accounts. So yeah, you can see here there's more engagement, but he's actually tweeting about Bitcoin. But tag this in. Let's see if we can find anything. Here we go. So yeah, this, I say engagement, it's only got 1 person liking it. So they've done technical analysis, they think it's about to break out. Okay, so that's just a start to finish as to you've researched the coin, you found out the price, you've looked at Twitter, you've got a few people that are convinced that it's going to break out. That to me is a normal process that I probably did about 6 months ago. What I now probably do is I now also watch the chart for maybe 5-10 minutes just to see things like volume, who's buying what, where the sell walls are, before actually making a decision. And for me, because I've kind of already researched all these coins, I probably don't necessarily do this process as much as I used to. But that is a really good starting point. Now, what was I going to show you on CoinGecko before? Okay, so yeah, you'll see here, so Ethereum is the name, but the effective tag that you'd want to put on something like Twitter would be F. If you also went to trade that on Binance, it would be F. If you searched Ethereum, it would come up because the first 3 letters are the same. But if you did that for something like BNB, it won't come up. So any trade that you're going to do, it will be the pairing match to this. Right, a few other things and then we'll wrap up. So the other thing you can do, so just you'll notice here, so you've got coins, you've got market cap rank, recently added, large movers, exchanges. So I won't cover DeFi and NFT, just I don't think it's important at this stage. So this is where you trade. I'm going to do a proper session on this later down the line because it is a little bit complicated when you first do it, but I just want to touch base with it now while we're on the website. So you've got, in terms of exchanges, you've got Spot and DEX. So Spot effectively is you would have heard of some of these. So Binance is the one that most people use. This is where a lot of people trade. So within these, your money is kind of embedded into that. And what I mean by that is I've got all of my money invested in KuCoin, which is at the 13th. It sits in there. I don't have to move it and send it to a wallet. I don't have to do anything. I literally just have it in my trading account and it just sits there. In terms of security, you probably would be, or I would be a bit hesitant to be keeping a lot of money in something like, I don't know, this BitBay. It's number 99. It's not something I've ever heard of, and clearly it's not necessarily got a trust score that we would want to be looking at. So I would say, just on my experience, any of the top, I've probably heard of the top 20, and I've probably used about half of them. I'd say anything with a score of 9 or over, you're 99.99% going to be fine. In terms of security, people have had more issues, I would say, in terms of losing money through DEX. So DEX is decentralized exchange. This is where you have to have a wallet. So you don't store your money within these, but you use this to buy something. So I, for instance, this is MetaMask. So this is a wallet that is connected. So if I connect to my wallet and then I go on Uniswap and sync it, I'll make the trade on Uniswap and then I will store my money in my MetaMask wallet. Confusing, and why I lost £8,000 sending Ethereum to the wrong wallet address. I don't think any of you within the first 6 months should be using it. And the reason I say this is any cryptocurrency that, in my opinion, has a lot of promise and not much risk is going to be on your spot. Dex is your poo coin, cum rockets. I don't know what else have I seen. I need to be careful with language in case anyone watches this that shouldn't be. A lot of the stupid coins that they don't have any utilization. So try and also think that Doge, which was the coin that everyone kind of jumped on the bandwagon with and got trending on Twitter, and also TikTok. I didn't invest in that. People made money, so you might say, well, you can't say shit about it because people made money. But it was all kind of based on Elon Musk. I don't want to invest in something that is purely dependent on whether some man with millions of followers tweets or doesn't, or could even do the opposite, and he has done that with Bitcoin at times. So try not to invest in something that has the ability to lose you a lot of money. I don't personally think you need to, and the reason I don't think you need to is because the other things that you can invest in that are safe have the ability to make you a lot of money. So it's not like all of that stuff goes up 0.1% and your meme coins like PooCoin can go up like 100x in a week. Avoid them. I know it's easy to get caught up in the hype of people making a load of money, but I've shown you a couple of examples of things that have done 100x and held a lot of their value. If I search Pika, this is gonna kill me. This is bigger mistake than, I don't know if I've told you. Oh, I have told you about this. So, come on, why are you lagging? Right, here we go. This is so frustrating. I can't remember at what point I had this. Maybe somewhere around here. Maybe even earlier, because I think actually I was involved in the Telegram and I took a punt on this before it got listed on CoinGecko. And when it goes on CoinGecko, as you can imagine, its entry price spikes significantly because people know the project is genuine. So I was probably in the first 1,000 holders of this. Got impatient, sold it about here. It literally flew. I think it roughly did 100x. I had $2,000 in this down here. I sold it, got impatient. It went up to here, but the pullback is insane. Like, people probably didn't. It would have been hard to cap out right at the top. People lost all this money, and a lot of people would have panic sold, and then it probably would have gone up again, and then people may have bought back in, and then look, it's all the way down here now. Don't invest in these shit coins, please. Like, I don't want people to lose money. I don't want people to make stupid decisions. You don't need to, unless you've got a shitload of money. If you're investing 100k then and you wanted to gamble $1,000 of that on stupid coins, by all means. But this is what I would say is gambling. It's not. You might as well take your money to the casino. There's no skill involved. There's no real technical analysis, in my opinion, because there's too many variables of the type of people that are buying the coins. So that would be my other lesson in today's intro, is avoid them like the plague. There's some new ones that have some fundamentals, but these Pikachu coins, they don't fucking do anything. And I'm sorry to swear, but it's true. Don't buy them. Don't get wrecked. Don't get hurt, because it will put you off investing as well. If you put £500 into something stupid and it goes down to £40, if I tell you about a good opportunity in 3 months' time, you're not going to invest, because your persona of cryptocurrency will be very negative. So start safe and sensible and low risk, and if you then want to, I can't tell you what to do, so if you want to play around with it, by all means, but I would avoid them like a plague. I don't think it's worth it. So that is the introduction. So you've got some tools now. So get on CoinGecko, start having a look. Get on YouTube. So if there's a few that you want to start searching, get them on YouTube. Have a look on Twitter. Do definitely, this is the one I'm going to say, have a look at this, FAQs. I think that everything else on there is fantastic as well. This is really basic understanding that I probably didn't look at when I first started to invest. So that's your starting point. Play around with it over the week. I'll put more content on, and then next week I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at specific cryptocurrencies that stand out for me and how I've come to that conclusion. And what we'll also do is we'll also look in more detail as what cryptocurrency is in terms of things like NFTs, DeFi. It'll be a little bit more complex next week, but I've just shown you how to effectively understand where to look, how to look, and the fact that there's a lot of cryptocurrencies that you can look at. So hopefully that helped. Any questions that you have, either obviously post them on YouTube. I would say just navigate through on Instagram. It's going to be easier for me to come back to you and we can have a proper conversation. But yeah, it's an exciting time. I think if we can break through at Bitcoin level, then I think we're going to have a really good few months. There is talk that we're going to get a bit of a pullback. So if it does pull back, it's going to be a good entry for new people to get into. But at the moment, as I said, the reason I think we need to do some reading first is because buying in now would be probably a little bit detrimental unless you were being very, very cautious with stop loss and just looking for 5 or 10% profits. But yeah, good starting point. Anything you need, give me a shout.